And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, we talked about this with Andy McCarthy, and separately, aside from Andy's appearance, the dry run that apparently has taken place on at least one flight, or two flights, one going from Washington, D.C. to Orlando, and then on a different day, the same flight going back from Orlando to D.C., Muslim men, or Islam, or should I say Middle Eastern men, and then women in burqas on the return flight. TSA said, no need for further investigation. And now we have this incident out of Los Angeles. Detectives today continued their efforts to find the suspect wanted for planting dry ice bombs around LAX, LA International Airport. Joining us right now to talk about this and a great column he wrote that's going to really tick you off, unfortunately, and tick us all off, is national security analyst from the ClarionProject.org, is Ryan Mauro. Hey, Ryan, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
All right, my pleasure. All right, so what do you make of, first of all, let's start with the bombs, the dry ice bombs in LAX. First they found one, and now they've found several more. What does that mean to you, and how significant is this?
That obviously is an act of terrorism, even though the official policy and the official stance right now is that there is no evidence of a nexus between terrorism. But common sense shows that this obviously is. Whether it's Islamic in nature or not, we don't know. But you don't just accidentally set off dry ice bombs at a major airport. That is someone who intends to do damage, and that is an act of terrorism.
And here's, I don't know if this is more troubling than if it were the other way around or not, but in these instances, the bombs were left in an area of the airport that requires special clearance for access. So someone, apparently, who has a pass, who has special clearance, is involved in this.
Right, and I suppose there is that minute chance that this is just a disgruntled worker that decided to get back at the airport that wronged him or something, but if you look at the signs of this, it definitely points in the direction of being terrorism motivated. But nonetheless, this does speak to the issue of terrorism because this is a relatively easy plot for Al-Qaeda or Hezbollah or whoever to carry out. And so even if this is just some nut job that hates his coworkers, just imagine what a homegrown terrorist could do if he could do it.
Yeah, and one of the big fears I think we've all always had was not only the person trying to get through security in the aftermath of 9/11, but the people who are hired to work in these airports who have complete access to the planes, from the cleaning staff to the people loading the luggage, right on down the line, that any one of them could do something to a plane or put a bomb, God forbid, or anything. And now this kind of makes you start thinking along those lines. So what do you think of this report out of Orlando, which I know you're familiar with, and the memo involved? The Orlando TV station got a hold of this confidential TSA memo talking about these, what appear to be dry runs. It was the same type of thing that happened to James Woods, the actor, in August of 2001, before 9/11, which turned out Muhammad Atta was involved in that dry run. So this, to me, is very alarming.
It's very alarming, but what's their official stance yet again? No evidence of links to terrorism. That seems to be the automatic assumption or the automatic public stance of officials whenever something like this happens, because they don't want to cause panic or hurt the economy, hurt their own industry. And so the airlines do have an incentive to wait until there's that smoking gun proof as a terrorist incident before saying anything. But the best sources to know if something is dangerous are the people that are on the plane and the pilots, because they're going to know what's abnormal. They're going to know how many people going to the bathroom and whether it's provocative or not. And if they're saying that's dangerous and they're worried about it when they encounter this every single day, then that worries me.
Yeah, how the FBI didn't greet that plane and pull those people. I mean, at an airport, they have great leeway, don't they? I mean, if you say, if you look the wrong way, if you say the wrong word, or someone thinks you said bomb, or someone thinks you're joking about some kind of explosion, or if you refuse to turn off your laptop on a plane, I mean, they could throw you off and the FBI could question you. And this kind of stuff happens, and no need for further investigation. I can only hope but doubt that they're just telling us that, but they know who these people are and they're investigating them.
Well, I'm sure that their names have been recorded. As soon as you send any type of report like that, it would be very surprising to me if they didn't at least look at the names of the people on the plane. But the fact that there weren't investigations and interviews of these individuals is telling. And I think that that's because of two things. First of all, it's political correctness. And second, it's the threat of a lawsuit. Because did they do anything illegal on that plane? No. And the fact that they were Middle Eastern is going to play a part, rightly or wrongly, in your assessment of their actions. And groups like the Council on American Islamic Relations or the North American Imams Federation or whatever, these organizations love opportunities like this to make it sound like Muslims are being persecuted all over the place and to launch lawsuits. And if you're working for an airline is a troubled industry right now, you do not want a high-profile, expensive lawsuit.
We're talking to Ryan Mauro, national security analyst for the clarionproject.org. You can check them out there, clarionproject.org. Here on the Steve Malzberg Show, you wrote a great piece today, an eye-opening piece, which is, just fits the MO of this administration and their love for the Muslim Brotherhood. And look what they did in Egypt by pulling the aid for the Egyptian military just the other day. Now we know that because of you, millions of American taxpayer dollars are being spent to promote the Muslim Brotherhood brand of Islam in Turkey and Qatar. What the heck is going on?
Because I talk to a lot of officials and I've seen this policy in motion, believe it or not, this doesn't surprise me. And that's because the Obama administration views the Muslim Brotherhood as being a few degrees less extreme, therefore moderate, as opposed to Al-Qaeda. And so the Muslim Brotherhood is actually viewed by this current administration and a lot of people in academia as being the solution to the Al-Qaeda brand of Islam. The thinking goes that if you offer them this alternative where people can vent their frustrations in democratic elections and through more nonviolent means, that they'll transfer their support from Al-Qaeda to the Muslim Brotherhood. That's a wonderful thing. And so what the administration is doing is they've set up a fund with the Islamist government of Turkey and the Islamist government of Qatar to support their version of Islam in a $200 million fund as a way of battling the Al-Qaeda ideology in the region.
And without going into great detail, you end the piece by saying, unfortunately, America's strategy will either create more Al-Qaeda recruits, which it's supposedly designed to stop, by expanding the overall Islamist following, or, if it works as intended, will hurt Al-Qaeda, but strengthen the other Islamist movements like the Muslim Brotherhood.
That's exactly right. Because this is what's important about this fund, which the U.S. is contributing $2 to $3 million to right off the bat, is that there's an ideological component. We want to push a religious message that says Al-Qaeda is wrong. But the government they're using to do that are the governments of Turkey and Qatar, which support the Islamist ideology. So you're fighting hardline Islamism with slightly less hardline Islamism.
Yeah, it is just insane. Ryan, always good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.